When the world descended into chaos in 1939, steel and fire replaced peace and reason. Nations weren't just fighting battles in open fields, they were fighting a war of endurance, of innovation, and of survival. The power of victory didn't only depend on soldiers charging through smoke, it depended on something far more hidden: the storerooms beneath the ground, the silent fortresses where weapons slept, waiting to roar again. In every nation, engineers became the unsung heroes. While the world praised the generals and the soldiers, few remembered the men who drew blueprints in candlelight, designing walls strong enough to outlast bombs, flames, and time itself. These were the keepers of the world's arsenal, the silent guardians of the tools that would decide humanity's fate. As German bombers screamed through the skies over London, as Tokyo braced under firestorms, and as Europe's heart trembled with each explosion, a secret war unfolded underground. A war of design. A war of protection. A war fought by engineers. They called them vault architects. They weren't soldiers, but every line they drew on paper was a defense against annihilation. Every bolt, every beam, every inch of reinforced concrete was a shield for thousands of lives. In the early days of the war, disaster struck military stockpiles across Europe. Conventional warehouses, built above ground, made of wood and iron, crumbled like paper under the might of aerial bombardment. Explosions ignited ammunition, turning supply depots into fiery graves. It became clear, if weapons were to survive the war, they needed to disappear beneath the earth. That's when engineers across Britain, Germany, America, and the Soviet Union began their race against time. Their mission: build storerooms that no bomb could break. Deep in the countryside, far from the eyes of spies and enemy aircraft, teams of engineers surveyed the land. They looked for rock formations, natural shields carved by time, and began sketching designs for underground bunkers that could hold tons of explosives, tanks, and rifles without a whisper reaching the surface. They calculated blast pressure. They studied shockwaves. They measured how vibrations moved through soil. Every inch mattered, because one small miscalculation could mean destruction. In Britain, hidden beneath rolling green hills, the Royal Engineers constructed the Box Tunnel Depot, a massive subterranean labyrinth originally carved by Victorian railway workers, now transformed into one of the most secure weapon storage vaults in the world. Its walls, 30 meters below the surface, could withstand direct bombing. It became a fortress of silence, guarded by soldiers who barely knew what lay within. Across the Atlantic, in the United States, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began designing storerooms that were part warehouse, part bunker, part fortress. They buried ammunition depots in hillsides, built reinforced concrete domes, and layered sand, steel, and soil to absorb the shock of potential airstrikes. But it wasn't just about protection, it was about secrecy. Engineers created decoy buildings above ground, fake barns and warehouses, to disguise the real vaults buried below. From the air, they looked harmless. Inside, they held enough weaponry to fuel an entire army division. In Germany, the same race for survival took a darker turn. As Allied bombers began reducing cities to rubble, Nazi engineers built colossal underground storerooms, like Mittelwerk, hidden inside a mountain. Thousands of tons of concrete sealed the tunnels where V-2 rockets and ammunition were stored and assembled. It was a place of genius and horror, where technology met tragedy. Many of those who built it were prisoners, forced to work in impossible conditions. But even in that darkness, the precision of engineering shone. The design, airtight, bomb-proof, and secret, was unmatched. The war taught the world one brutal truth: without safe storage, there could be no victory. Engineers became soldiers of silence, defending not with bullets, but with calculations. They faced dangers few ever saw. During construction, tunnels collapsed, underground gases exploded, and sometimes, enemy reconnaissance planes flew too close. Secrecy was everything. In one chilling incident in 1942, a British engineering team working on a secret ammunition vault in Wales detected vibrations underground, enemy bombers approaching. The engineers refused to flee. They stayed, sealing the vault doors manually, ensuring no spark could ignite the stored ammunition. The bombs fell nearby, the earth shook, but the vault held. The engineers survived, covered in dust, their work unbroken. Their courage was never mentioned in newspapers. But history remembers them in silence. Every storeroom was a story of sacrifice. Some were built under castles, others beneath forests or frozen fields. The Soviets carved entire weapon vaults into mountain ranges, turning geology into armor. They learned to use the earth itself as their ally. But the challenge wasn't just to hide weapons, it was to preserve them. Ammunition needed to stay dry, stable, and accessible. Engineers invented new ventilation systems that filtered air through sand and charcoal to prevent moisture or fire hazards. Some storerooms had double-sealed corridors. If one door was breached, the second would lock automatically, isolating the explosion. By 1944, the art of storage had become as advanced as the art of warfare itself. When D-Day arrived, it wasn't just the bravery of soldiers that turned the tide. It was also the silent work of those who had built the storerooms months and years before, ensuring every bullet, every rifle, every shell made it to the front lines safely. Hidden in the English countryside, in depots like Chilmark and Corsham, engineers watched as trains rolled out carrying ammunition that had survived hundreds of air raids thanks to their designs. The soldiers who fired those shells never knew whose hands had protected them. But in the quiet hearts of those engineers, they knew they had played their part. Even after the war ended, many of these storerooms remained sealed, their blueprints classified for decades. Some were converted into Cold War bunkers, others into data centers or museums. Yet, deep beneath layers of earth, the walls still stand, untouched, silent, and proud. They tell a story of a different kind of heroism, the kind that doesn't march or salute, but measures, designs, and builds. The kind that works in shadows so others can fight in light. Imagine it, a young engineer in 1941, in a cramped underground room, drawing plans while bombs thunder above. His pencil shakes with each explosion, but he keeps drawing. Because he knows, if his walls fail, thousands will die. If his math is wrong, cities will burn. But if he succeeds, soldiers will live to see another dawn. That was the unseen face of courage. These engineers weren't chasing glory. They were racing against time, against destruction itself. They turned science into armor, concrete into courage, and design into destiny. When we look at the ruins of World War II, the cities rebuilt, the monuments standing tall, few remember the storerooms hidden below, where the fate of nations was quietly protected. Even today, when historians uncover these underground vaults, they find more than rusted steel or empty crates. They find a testament to the minds that refused to give in, to the hearts that built hope beneath fear. Because sometimes, the strongest fortresses are not the ones that stand tall, but the ones buried deep, unseen, unbroken, and unforgettable. And so, the story of war isn't complete without the story of those who built in silence. The engineers who measured darkness and gave it shape. The guardians of the world's weapons, and, in a way, the guardians of its future. Their legacy lies not in medals or parades, but in the endurance of their creations. Bunkers that still stand. Walls that never cracked. Vaults that outlived war itself. As the world remembers the soldiers who fought, we must also remember those who built. The men who fought with compasses instead of guns, with blueprints instead of maps. They were the hidden heartbeat of victory, the invisible soldiers of the Industrial War. They didn't write history with blood, but with steel and stone. And because of them, countless lives were saved. When the world above was burning, they built hope below.